channel. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video today. I have a very fun layout for you. As you can see here, I've got a 12 by 12 stencil that I'm going to use as my background, and I'm going to pull in 4 different inks. I'm going to bring in 2 Catherine Pooler inks and 1 Altenew and 1 Simon Says stamp. Now the colors that I decided to bring in, I actually pulled from my picture. As you can see in both pictures, the background was like a big mural, and I pulled in the colors from that because I thought it would be fun to include those. So the Simon Says stamp color that I have is Pine, and all these are dye inks. And Pine is just a deep green. The Altenew is Water Hyacinth. I can't say it, but I'll try to have it linked below. And the 2 Catherine Pooler, one is Serene, and that's that purple color, and the other one is Orange Peel, and that's not a vibrant orange. It's like a nice light orange. So I'm just getting my stencil situated and getting it taped to my white cardstock. Now I am using my very favorite white cardstock that I don't know how much longer you're going to be able to get because it's close to my heart, White Daisy. I have maybe about 100 sheets left, so I'm not sure how long that's going to last, but if you or somebody you know were a close to my heart consultant and you have bulk White Daisy that you want to get rid of, please let me know. So anyway, the stencil that I'm using is from the Crafters Workshop, and it's Balzer Designs, I guess was the designer, and I'm not 100% sure of the name of the stencil. I have it in front of me. Oh, it's called Mystic Doodles, but I'll try to have it linked below. And I'm just using some different brushes that I have. The ones that I pulled out are actually Simon Says stamp. I have a whole slew of Amazon ones, and the only reason I have them different is I don't want to mix up my brushes for distress ink versus dye ink. So I'm just going through here and kind of blending with no particular order or anything. And that's honestly how I like to start backgrounds like this. I didn't really know where I was going to put my photos. I just kind of started blending and went with it, or started putting ink down on the background and went with it. I did make sure that I didn't overlap colors that I thought would muddy it up. So there's really nowhere on the page that all 4 overlap, because I didn't want any muddy areas. I wanted to make sure you would be able to see each color. And if they blended together, I wanted to make sure you would be able to see it's a blend, not just some ugly brown color. So I am going to go ahead and speed this part up. Again, I'm just kind of going at a random order or random locations on it, just whatever feels good. The layer that I'm putting down here is a very light layer. I do end up going back and deepening it up and getting it more saturated so you can see the colors a lot better. All right, it looks like I am going super duper fast. But yeah, this is a layout that I really just had fun with. I had fun with the colors. I had fun making it. I had fun sitting there and blending. I want to say I had a movie on or something that I was watching, or a TV show, because this didn't take up a lot of brain power. It was just more the act of actually being creative. And while I was blending this background, I kept noticing the ovals with the wheels on it. Something about it reminds me of a skateboard. So I really feel like if you've got kids or yourself that like to skateboard or skate parks and stuff, this would be a good stencil for you. I'm not 100% sure it's still available, just because I have had it for a couple years. But if it is, I will definitely link it below. And I've got everything all blended out. And I did leave the stencil on for this. So I'm just showing you I was bringing out my Distress Spritz in Fossilized Amber. And I'm spraying it through the stencil. I wanted the gold mist to just get on the inked sections. I didn't want it on the white sections. So that's a little trick you can do, is leave your stencil up there and just spray on top of it. As you can see on the edges, the stencil doesn't quite go to the edge of my paper, so I did have some overlap, but that is okay. I make it work. I end up trimming it down and adding a couple layers behind it. I'm just hitting it with my heat gun just to make sure the ink is dry and make sure the gold is dry. I will say about this mist, I did make this layout a couple weeks ago at this point, and I can still touch the layout and little particles or little shimmer come off on my hand. So I would be confident in saying that it's probably not going to be one of those things that will 100% dry down to the touch. But once it's in the page protector, it's all good. It will be a-okay. So right now I'm just trying to decide what I want on the background. So I saved you the hassle of me going through all my papers, and I decided on these two really pretty green colors that happen to both be from Paige Evans. One is from an autumn collection or a fall collection, and one is from Horizon maybe. But I love the contrast of these two greens, especially with me not putting a lot of green on the background. I wanted to make the green pop because I'm wearing green. I didn't want to make the green pop because I was wearing green. I just wanted to make it pop because there's enough green in the picture that I thought it would bring it out. Not to try to sound conceited or anything. I really like this lime green too. Green is also my favorite color, so, you know. So I decided to do a double matte, and I felt like it needed a little bit more, so I bring out my Tim Holtz Distressing Tool, and I just go around the edges of the dark green paper just to give it a little bit more to it. And I just go all the way around. Some places I go a little bit deeper in it, so it's a little bit more torn. And I get rid of all the little fuzzies from that. So if you have a background, not even a busy background, but you feel like it needs a little bit more, I suggest using a very thin layer of a dark matte and then a second matte. I think it adds a nice little pop to the layout, and it can help bring in some other colors that you want to emphasize. So putting those greens back there kind of brings out the green that I have inked on the layout. So what I'm going through here is the 6x8 paper pad from Paige Evans' new collection, Adventurous. And I thought I was going to be able to use this paper pad with this collection because I just don't think they were the vibe that I was going for. The Adventures collection has obviously travel stuff, which this wasn't a travel layout, but it's also got more dainty, for lack of a better word, and delicate designs, and I have more of a graphic design on my background, so I needed something that was a little more bold. But I did end up using this 6x8 of the blue with the gold. It's like a gold airplane with the trails behind it, but you really can't see what it is. I just wanted that blue. So I'm trying to decide here what direction I want my layout to be. And this is a good time to decide what kind of design you want on your layout. If you want a diagonal, and that's what I ended up going with, I noticed that I had orange in kind of two different corners. So I decided to make that my diagonal and create that going from top left to bottom right. And I'm bringing in some different scraps that I have. I want to say that star paper is from an old crepe paper collection, as well as that notebook paper. The cloud paper I don't end up using. It's from an old pink paisley collection. There was a boy one and a girl one, and I don't remember what the name of it was, but I'm sure it's not available anymore. The film strip is from a Vicki Boutin collection, and there is a lot of cutting here because I did take some time when I was watching a video or movie, but I did take some time and go through my embellishments and try to find what I wanted to try to make work on this layout. I just saved you from having to watch all that. So I'm bringing in some bits and pieces, and all of this stuff is from Vicki Boutin. And honestly, I'm not sure which collection is which. I store my embellishments by designer, so I don't have them by individual collections, so I apologize for that. But I do have this paper frame from Vicki, as well as this vellum Happy Memories arrow, and I thought it'd be really cool to staple it to the top of the frame, and then I could have it pointing to the title. And I do end up doing that, but it goes through quite a transformation before we get there, as does this whole cluster. I kind of go back and forth with it. I wasn't quite sure where I was going with it from the start. I didn't want to cover up a lot of the background. I really wanted that to be on display, which is why I had such a hard time with the layout itself, or with the pattern paper and stuff. So I decided to bring in some vellum to put behind the frame so I could have something in it if I wanted to place a title or something on it, but it would kind of mute the background, but you'd still be able to see through it. So that's what I'm doing there. I love using vellum for stuff like that, just kind of muting the background. Now, if I wasn't worried about covering up most of the background, I really did like that journaling card beside that frame with the label, the frame with the arrow, because it drew your eye right towards it, and I could have put the journaling of the day on it. But again, I didn't want to cover up but so much of my background. So I'm just fiddling with it here, trying to get it to stick down. I didn't have enough adhesive on it, so the pictures kept moving around. My picture mat kept moving around. So I'm just tucking little pieces here and there. So I think with layouts like this, it's easy to go overboard with color. People can still make it work. I cannot make it work. So I kind of wanted to stick with the same 4 colors that I had and variations of that. So I've got the green arrow. I've got a green tab or binder clip that I end up using. The film strip has blues and greens in it. So I've still got colors that I've got in the background. They just are in different shades. Looking at it now, I did end up covering up quite a bit of that blue, but that's okay. You got to cover some of it up. Otherwise, you wouldn't have any pictures on it. But these colors and this type of layout is a very fun way to bring in some bold embellishments that you have. So I did take a little time off camera and went through my stash and found some things that I would like, some more stickers and stuff that I would like to try to get on this layout. I did find this banner. Now this is from a Chamel collection, maybe box of crayons. And the little chipboard pieces, oh, they're from Freckled Fawn, maybe? Yeah, I'm not 100% on that. It was just in my stash bucket that you can see over there to the right. I just had everything filed. I want to say it was Freckled Fawn. But I was trying to find things that match the colors. And I thought about bringing in this little camera that had teal and like an orangey color, but I didn't like how the teal looked with it, so I left it out. And I'm going through the words, and we were there with, as you can see in the picture, is Tisa, which is Tisa Brown on YouTube. It was my husband and me, and her husband and her, and we went to go play putt-putt. But not normal putt-putt. It was sort of like a obstacle course putt-putt. It was very fun. It went by very quick. I really want to go back and have a go at it again, but I really had a good time. But the name of the place is the Party Shack, and it's spelled like I'm spelling it here, P-A-R-Tee-E. But anyway, we were there with friends, so I definitely wanted to include that. I'm making a little pun on the word party, which is already, they've made it into a pun, but doing party friends. So the camera I have that's showing up green on the video is not actually green. It's from an old Amy Tan collection, and it's black with, I think, holographic glitter on top of it, so it kind of picks up whatever light you've got going on. Just it shows up green for whatever reason right now. So I felt like I was missing something under the title. It kind of felt like my title or the word party was floating. So I brought in a scrap of that background paper, or one of the papers I used to mat the background, in the darker green, and I brought it to the foreground. So my video cut out because I was out of storage on my phone, but I've got that all fixed. Since I didn't know it cut out, I went ahead and finished the layout. So I just wanted to come here real time and just show you a couple things that I added. I don't know if this part got filmed, but these are little paper clips from Jen Hatfield. I felt like the cluster over here was right hand heavy, so I added another little frame over here with a chipboard piece to match this. I think my title got on there. I just added a little camera up here. Now, looking at it last night and today, I could, to bring more balance, I could add another square right here, but I really am happy with it the way that it is because I love the focus of the orangey color that goes from the diagonal. So I did also want to make sure you were able to see the sheen and the shine from the Distress Spritz. And I did spray it across. Some of it is overspray. I'm hoping this picks up on the camera. Some of it is from overspray, and some of it is from, like, I think this area is from a direct spray. And so more so this over here is overspray. I'm hoping that picks up on camera really well, especially on that purple. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thank you once again for taking the time to watch it. If you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, guys.